James Monroe and James Madison write the Federalist Papers, and they are trying to persuade the states go ahead and adopt the Constitution. And one of the things that the states were most concerned about was tyrannical judges, tyranny with judges. So I won't go into a lot of detail, but in Federalist 78, James Hamilton said you don't have to worry about it. They've got no power. They have no power over the executive. They have no power over the legislature. You know, the executive has the sword. The legislature has the purse, and the judiciary has nothing. In fact, Hamilton called it indisputably the weakest branch of the government. And if you look at the opening line of the third Amendment to the Constitution, interesting how Article 1 establishes the Congress, which is what the constitutional scheme is supposed to follow. Article 2, the President. Article 3, the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the only branch of government created by the Constitution that is judicial. And get this, and such other, get this, inferior courts as Congress may from time to time ordain and established. So, inferior courts. So here in North Carolina, I've taken cases from the federal level to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Richmond. All right, that's the next level up. And from there to the Supreme Court. The Fourth Circuit is inferior to our district court judges. We have, you know this, Kathy.
Oh, yes, I know that.
But focus on inferior. We have approximately 677 federal judges. And the ones who are appointed by the Democrats think they want to be president, and they think they want to be Congress. And in Federalist 78, Hamilton warned against the greatest danger, where you have the judiciary combining itself either with the lawmaking capacity or with the executive capacity. And that will be the ultimate in tyranny. And that's what the judiciary's done. Roe versus Wade, you make up some right to abortion based on the penumbras from the internet, just make it up. That's outside of their authority. Or these foolish judges like Boasberg and Reyes who can think they can issue an order to the President of the United States to turn around a plane which is filled with criminals deported under the Immigration Acts. The Constitution gives Congress and the President only the authority over immigration, and over only the authority of the military. The courts don't have it. They grabbed it because we let them grab it. We need to pass what I call a Judicial Separation of Powers Act to clip their wings. The Congress has the power to clip their wings. Abraham Lincoln, during the Civil War, had an issue with the Supreme Court at that time. There was a guy named Roger Taney who was the Chief Justice. And there was a Confederate officer named John Merriman over at Fort McHenry. Y'all know, Osea, can you see? But the dawn's early light. The flag is there at Fort McHenry. You get it? Yeah. Anyway, there was a Confederate officer at Fort McHenry. Taney sent an order to Lincoln for a habeas corpus order to remove the prisoner and bring him before the Supreme Court. You know what? How Lincoln handled that? Anybody know how Lincoln handled that? Lincoln read Federal 78. He told the Supreme Court to go pound sand. He did not comply with it. In 2017, you may remember, when Trump entered a couple of orders to stop temporarily immigration from Muslim nations, the Democrats sued. They had a judge named James Robards in Seattle and another one named Derek Watkins in Hawaii, who was Obama's law school classmate, by the way, unconstitutional. So the administration appeals to the Ninth Circuit, which is out there, and the SCOTUS, and a year later it's reversed. So what's going to happen when USS Abraham Lincoln is home ported in San Diego, which is where I was in the Navy for a while? I love the place. What's going to happen if the Middle East blows up and the President orders USS Abraham Lincoln to sail out of San Diego and some liberal files a lawsuit against the President because it's going to hurt the sea lions or the whales or whatever, and the judge gives the order to stop it? What's going to happen? You see, we are facing tyranny. Here's the thing we got to remember. Communists play the long game. The Chinese communists play the long game. And don't think just because somebody speaks English, they're not communists. What we're seeing right now with these out-of-control judges is the evidence of communism using the levers of power to sustain power. Now they've tried COVID. They tried lawfare. Y'all, I should have brought a couple of copies of my book, Kangaroo Court. But now they're trying to go back to their communist judges. And we cannot afford, even in the Senate race, keep in mind, we have 4 years of President Trump, but and we might have only 2, because we don't know what's going to happen in 26. But whoever comes into the United States Senate is going to be there for 4 years after Trump's gone. So we love our country. We have to make a determined effort to understand we've got to go to war against this deep state and take it out, and we cannot do it. We cannot do it just by the status quo. Close with one thing. We the people. You know, when you think about the Declaration of Independence and Jefferson writes, you know, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. They're endowed by the Creator, not what the thing, as Biden would say, but with certain unalienable rights. Among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And you go 12 years later, and James Madison writes in the preamble, we the people, not of Ukraine, not we the people of the United Nations, or the one world order, we the people of the United States. That is where America first was born. Last night, I got choked up a bit because I spent 2 hours in Lee County. We showed a couple of films, and afterwards, there was a little old lady, and I didn't know what she was doing. And she put out this envelope. She gave it to us. When I opened it, had $2 in it.
Oh, bless her.
Do you think I'll ever spend that money? This is the widow's mite. We're not going to win this race. You know, my good friend Robert Burns, our mayor of Monroe, kind of let the cat out of the bag, and I love him to death. And the next day, WBT reports it, and then they're saying, here's a long shot. I'd rather have a long shot than no shot. But this Senate race will be taken by we the people. You know, we don't have the money. Our people don't have the money to strike 6- and 7-figure checks unless lightning strikes. We have an opportunity to step up and restore this seat for we the people. Love you all. I'm happy to take any questions.
Hey.